Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Simp here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today what I got for you guys on the channel is the best class setups after update 1.16 in Black Ops 4. There are a lot of buffs and there are a lot of nerfs, so I'm just going to go over what I think are the 10 best class setups after the update. Real quick before we get into the class setups, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're not, hit that subscribe button. It's free. Turn the post notifications on so you don't miss any gameplays or videos. With that being said, let's jump into the class setups. Jumping into the first class setup on screen right now, real quick disclaimer, these are not in any order. I just figured I'd put these class setups out for you guys 1 through 10. Starting out with the Vapor though, I use Elo, Rapid Fire, Suppressor, and Stock. I use the Elo sight over the red dot sight simply because I think that the red dot sight takes up too much field of view on your screen, kind of blocks like the upper portion of your screen sometimes. With the Elo sight, I feel like I have more freedom and I have a better field of view. Nothing's blocking my screen or anything like that, or nothing's blocking my line of sight. So yeah, definitely I think you should be rocking the Elo over the Reflex, at least on the Vapor. Moving on to my next attachment, I'm using Rapid Fire, and this is probably the most significant attachment that I'm using on this class setup. Rapid Fire comes in clutch when you're going against other Vapors or even other weapons that don't use Rapid Fire. Obviously with Rapid Fire, it allows you to shoot your weapon faster, but that also allows you to kill your enemies quicker, so you should definitely take advantage of that. I know some people might be afraid of Rapid Fire because you might not be used to the recoil or something like that, but once you get used to the recoil, I promise you, that's probably the best attachment to be running on your class setups if your gun can equip it, because Rapid Fire is very overpowered, especially on guns like the KN57 or the Vapor. I definitely recommend that you get used to the recoil patterns with Rapid Fire and take advantage of it, because you'll win every gunfight, or at least I'd say 9 out of 10 of the gunfights against enemies that aren't using Rapid Fire on their weapons, as long as you're accurate with it and you can get used to the recoil. For my last two attachments on the Vapor, I'm rocking Suppressor and Stock. Suppressor, obviously, to stay off the minimap and stay as stealthy as possible. Suppressor is kind of personal preference on this weapon. I like to streak and I play more of that objective, so I'm trying to get my score streaks and stay as stealthy as possible. But if you're playing objective and you're trying to get the win, then you could take off the Suppressor and throw on fast mags instead. Stock is not personal preference. If you have an assault rifle and you can throw stock on it, I definitely recommend you do. If you don't, it's going to feel like your feet are just stuck in the mud, kind of like with the Rampart. Since there isn't a stock attachment for the Rampart, it feels very slow while you're aiming down sights, and that's why you kind of have to strafe with it. But if you can throw stock on your assault rifle, like I said, definitely do it. Moving on to the next class setup, we're going to be using the KN57. Real quickly, I just want to let you guys know my perks and my gear are going to be pretty much the same throughout this whole entire video. I'm going to be using ComSec device because I like to get my score streaks quicker. I would say the gear is kind of personal preference. Use what you like to use, but for perks, I'm using Scavenger, Gung Ho, and Dead Silence. Scavenger, obviously, to replenish ammo. Then I'm using Gung Ho. It's kind of like Dexterity from Black Ops 2. Helps you bring your gun up faster from the hip. Sort of like a quick draw. If you don't have a quick draw on your weapon, definitely use Gung Ho. And then I use Dead Silence because I like to sound whore, and with Dead Silence, obviously I can't hear my feet, but I'm able to hear enemies' feet easier, so I would definitely recommend you guys use Dead Silence. Alright, so moving on to the KN57 class setup, I'm using Suppressor, Rapid Fire, and Stock. It's actually exactly like the Vapor class setup, besides the fact that I'm not using an optic sight, and that gives me more room for perks and things like that. I actually had one slot available and I wasn't able to throw on an extended mags or anything like that. I usually would use extended mags, but I just didn't have enough slots available, so I had room for a pistol. That's why I am using the Mozu. But yeah, you guys can basically see my gear and my perks are the same. The attachments for my assault rifle is basically the same. The Suppressor, to stay stealthy, I have Stock because obviously if you can throw stock on your assault rifle, definitely do it. And then yeah, I'm using Rapid Fire so I can compete with those weapons that aren't using Rapid Fire, or even, you know, weapons that are just higher rate of fire weapons. I'm able to compete with all of those weapons at any range. On to the next class setup, we're going to be talking about the Rampart. This weapon actually just received a nerf, but I don't care what anyone says. With these attachments, it's still one of the most overpowered weapons in the game. High cal 1 and 2. With high caliber 1, you're obviously able to do more damage to the head, but with high caliber 2, you're able to do more damage to the chest and above. So as long as you're accurate and you can hit your shots, I promise you, the Rampart is still extremely overpowered. I used to use grip over fast mags, but I figured out there isn't really that much recoil, so you can get away with using fast mags. It's going to help you out. I had an extra slot available, that's why there is a Mozu on there. I use iron sights in this weapon. I know some people that like to use an optic sight like reflex or something like that, but I would recommend that you guys try getting used to the iron sights on these weapons before you use a reflex sight, because it's preferences for different people. It's personal preference, so you might like iron sights and one other person might not like them. So just try getting used to the iron sights, and that'll also give you an extra slot, whether you want a pistol, a perk, or a gear. So definitely try getting used to the iron sight. This class setup for the Maddox, I don't have to explain that much. I'm pretty sure most of you have already used it, or at least seen players use it, because a lot of pro players use this class setup. But it's quick draw 1 and 2 with stock. You also use the elo sight. At least that's what I use on it. But with quick draw 1 and 2, you get maximum speed while aiming down sight, and with stock, you're obviously able to be more mobile while aiming down sight. So I definitely recommend you guys still use this class setup. It's been nerfed a little bit with the recoil. The pattern is a little bit different, but as long as you get used to it, all it takes is a little bit of practice. It's still the good old Maddox that was very overpowered since the beginning. Alright, so on to the next class setup where we'll be talking about the Auger DMR, and this is a weapon that's recently emerged to be one of the most overpowered weapons in Black Ops 4. With these attachments, it definitely can be considered one of the best weapons in the game. I'm using high caliber 1 and 2. Already talked about it with the Rampart, what it does, more damage to the chest and above with high cal 1 and 2. I practiced with the standard optic sight on the ABR, and I got used to it, so I don't need to use a red dot or anything like that, and that gives me the ability to use the operator mod, which is double tap. And if you don't know what double tap does, it basically allows you to shoot 2 bullets at once when you pull the trigger just or hit the button just one time. So I definitely recommend you guys give this Auger DMR class setup a shot. It's very overpowered after the update. Moving on to the next class setup for the best class setups after the update, I'm using the swordfish with reflex, hybrid mags, FMJ, and high caliber. Hybrid mags obviously allows you to reload faster and gives you a little bit more ammo. FMJ on this weapon is very, very crucial in case you run into somebody that's using body armor. You're able to actually still one burst them with FMJ. And then high caliber, just in case you're maybe head glitching or maybe even your enemy is head glitching, you're able to hit their head, and that's an easy one burst. I love this weapon. It's a great 4-burst weapon, kind of like the M8A7 or M8A1 from previous Black Ops series. So yeah, definitely give this class setup a shot. On to my next class setup, we're going to be talking about the ABR. It actually received a buff recently. They bumped up the amount of ammunition in every clip from 30 to 36, so that's pretty good. You're able to spray more bullets at the enemies, and who doesn't like that? I'm using stock 1 and 2 with quick draw. I'm also using the elo sight. So basically I'm able to stay very mobile. With the elo sight, you get more field of view than the reflex sight. With stock 1 and 2, I've got maximum mobility while I'm aiming down sight and jumping. And obviously with quick draw, I'm able to aim down sight faster. So all around, this weapon's very good. It competes at every range, and it's kind of a sleeper. I don't see that many people using it in public matches. I definitely recommend you guys give this class setup a shot though. Moving on to my ICR7 class setup. I'm sure this is a class setup that maybe you've used before, or you've seen a pro use, like Optic Crim6. He's an ICR slave. I'm using reflex, grip 1 and 2 with FMJ. With grip 1 and 2 on this weapon, I'm sure most of you guys already know, there's no recoil. It's basically like cheating. It's like aimbot. Definitely give this class setup a shot, guys. It's been overpowered since the beginning of the game. With FMJ, you don't have to worry about body armor players. Actually, as a matter of fact, when I'm using this class setup and I run against players that are using body armor, I embrace it because that's an extra plus 125 towards my score streak. So definitely give this class setup a shot, guys. Very overpowered. I highly recommend you guys try it out. Alright guys, so I've got 2 more classes to show you. This one right here is for the Spitfire. I'm using extended mags, fast mags, and FMJ. The duo of extended mags and fast mags is basically like hybrid mags. I definitely recommend you guys try it out, especially on this class setup, especially because the Spitfire has a high rate of fire. Real quick little disclaimer, I'm sure most of you guys are thinking that I'd put the SOG in here. The SOG is definitely a very good weapon, but I wouldn't say it's one of the best weapons or upper echelon weapons in the game. You might call me crazy, but I think the Cordite or even the Spitfire shines over the SOG, but that's personal preference. That's just what I'm saying. But yeah, guys, let's talk about this class setup. I'm using extended mags and fast mags, like I said, being able to get more ammo and being able to reload faster. FMJ, it literally shreds through anyone that's using body armor, so you ain't got to worry about any body armor users. Like I mentioned a second ago, I don't mind running against players that are using body armor as long as my weapon has FMJ on it, because I'm easily going to be able to rip through them, and I get extra points for killing people with body armor. So really, FMJ is one of those attachments that I highly recommend you take advantage of. Alright, so this is the last class setup of the video. It might come off as a shocker that I'm talking about the Hades, but guys, if you haven't tried out the operator mod on the Hades, I definitely recommend you do. It's called the crossbar, and I'm telling you, it gives you a huge advantage in gunfights. It's basically like a hip fire spread. It's very accurate, and you don't have to bring your gun up all the way from the hips, so you're basically able to hit your bullets before your enemies are able to hit their shots on you. So I definitely recommend you guys give this class setup a shot. I'm using hybrid mags and rapid fire, this combo right here. It's a very good and fun class setup to use. I've streaked with it. I've done really well with it. I'm actually probably going to upload a video to the channel of me using it soon. If you guys want to see that, let me know down in the comment section below. But yeah, guys, definitely give this class setup a shot. It might come off as a shocker, like I said, but I'm telling you, it's a sleeper. If you don't use it, definitely start using it now. Alright guys, so those are my 10 best class setups after the update 1.16 in Black Ops 4. I hope these class setups can help you guys out, improve your KD, get some high kill games, whatever you're trying to do. I hope they help. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, guys. I appreciate all the support. With that being said, it's been your boy Simp. I'm signing out. See ya.